Almost all of the babies I see go through a very fun stage of throwing food. So before you go out and get a full body shield to protect all your clothes from the flying baby food, try a few of these tips. All behavior is communication, so we're going to work together to try and decode what your toddler is trying to communicate when they're throwing food across the room. First, some children throw food because there's too much on their plate, they get visually overwhelmed, even if it's not an amount that you think is excessive. The way that you can test this is by putting less on their plate and seeing if they still throw, or if it's safe, you can give them one big piece that they can take bites off of while you're monitoring, rather than already pre-cutting it into smaller pieces. Second, they could really dislike the food. You can test this by presenting it to them outside of their high chair where they're normally expected to eat and see if they're still doing things like turning away, refusing to touch it, trying to touch it with the back of their hands instead of their fingers. If that's the case, we're going to respond by continuing to introduce it in small, low-pressure, play-based ways to increase their comfort. What we can do in the meantime is implement a no thank you bowl. That's where your child is going to put everything that they are not comfortable eating. So I've had more luck introducing this with kids when we're putting the bowl on a table next to their high chair tray rather than on their high chair tray. Just that something about that extra space seems to really help them understand the concept. Third, little ones are very intuitive at knowing the best ways to get our attention. We've all been distracted during meal times. You're trying to balance a million things. We can test this by seeing if you have a few minutes to sit down next to your child, even if it's just while you're eating alongside them. Do you notice a change in the throwing behaviors? And if so, how can we make sure that we're giving them more attention for behaviors that are not throwing food than for the throwing behavior? Fourth, your kiddo could just be full. I start by introducing the sign for all done at the end of every meal so your child's familiar with it. When they start throwing, then we redirect them. We can ask, are you all done? And model the sign for it to help them understand and communicate that in ways that don't involve throwing in the future. I hope these tips help. Have fun.